Imagine you're the very first scientist to discover aliens in some form. Let's say you have picked up a clear message or found some microbes wriggling on Mars soil. But how would you announce to the world that you have made the momentous discovery? And what are the evidence toll gates you should pass through to ensure that you are not wrong? Hi guys, this is Seth and this is Bible channel where the English is bad but the science is good. Ours could potentially be the generation to discover evidence of life beyond Earth. With this privileged potential comes responsibility. If you find some form of life in some outer space object, it would be an all or nothing proposition. Either the evidence of life is true or not true. No gray areas. One thing is sure, that extraordinary claims about life outside of Earth requires extraordinary evidence to prove it. But evidence is more likely not going to come in the definitive form of little green blobs touching down on Earth. In fact, it's likely to be subtle or even completely unfamiliar to us. Or perhaps it will only reveal phase-wise as our scientists make a series of follow-up investigations. So scientists have proposed something called a confidence of life detection scale, also called the COLD scale. This scale consists of 7 steps which will help making a definitive confirmation about the potential detection of life. We will talk more about the confidence of life detection scale here. But before that, I would really request you to press the like button and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps me make more videos. Let's get back to the COLD scale and take up a simple scenario of having found evidence of life on Mars. The lowest levels of this scale, 1 and 2, focus on the initial identification of potential biosignatures. For example, chemistry, physical structures or activity consistent with biological origin. At the first step of the scale, that is level 1, scientists would report hints of a signature of life such as biologically relevant molecule. As we move to level 2, this ensures that the detection was not influenced by the instruments having been contaminated on the Earth. Steps 3 and 4 puts a focus on whether the environment around the biosignatures is indeed habitable, whether a biological explanation is the best and the only one, or if there are other contaminating sources. At level 3, they will show how this biological signal is found in an analog environment such as an ancient lake bed on Earth, like the Perseverance rover's landing site, Jezero crater. Higher levels of the scale involve verification of the initial result by independent lines of evidence. It also involves dismissal of alternate hypotheses that are developed by the community specifically in response to the initial result. Since different teams on Earth would have the opportunity to independently verify hints of life in Mars samples with a variety of instruments, the combination of their evidence could achieve level 6, the second highest step on the scale. But in this example, to reach level 7, the standard by which scientists would be more sure that they had detected life on Mars, an additional mission to a different part of Mars may be required. The last step would be the hardest, especially when considering the potential findings of current missions. NASA's Perseverance rover, for example, is currently roaming around Jezero crater on Mars looking for evidence of life. The rover is equipped with all kinds of instruments that would allow it to detect life up to level 5, but it would take an analysis of samples returned to Earth to achieve level 6. And reaching level 7 might involve follow-up investigations on other places of Mars. Thus, establishing best practices for communicating about life detection can serve to set reasonable expectations on the early stages of hugely challenging efforts. This attaches value to the incremental steps along the path and build public trust by making clear that false starts and dead ends are an expected and potentially productive part of the scientific process. If you have liked this video and found it remotely interesting, do subscribe to the channel and press the like button. Thank you. Bye-bye.